Hello, Ivan, in beautiful Potter Valley, California. Thanks for joining us on Purple Haze here in Melbourne, Australia.
Thanks for having me. I can't believe I'm talking to somebody from way over there.
That was going to be my first question because, I had a little bit of success of note in your wonderful country with the band I played in called the Little River Band. We were talking about that before we went to air. But one of the great things that happened to me when I was touring America in the very early days, which was like around 1976, 77, was that people heard my accent and, Americans generally didn't know a lot about Australia, and I don't know if that's changed a great deal over the years, but people thought that because I had an accent, Australians spoke a foreign language.
Well, it's sometimes hard to understand some of these British kind of people, like John Lennon and stuff, but you guys talk pretty clear.
Well, we're a good mixture, we're kind of a cross between, because we've grown up with the British society and American society, having an influence on our country, so we kind of got a foot in each camp there. But anyway, back to you, enough of us.
I started very pure. Lemon Pipers was the total puddle of money and loss of control. It wasn't the real Lemon Pipers. You see, there's two different Lemon Pipers. There's the Green Tambourine Lemon Pipers, and then there's the heavy metal band. We're the acid rock band, and we suddenly had a string of poopy hits, man. I mean, it was devastating to my young little psyche. It was terrible, but I lived through it. I didn't shoot myself with a shotgun like Kirk shouldn't have, and Del Shannon shouldn't have, but I should have, but I didn't.
Do you look back on it now differently, though? I mean, obviously, they're the sentiments that you would have had at the time and post a few years after the success. And I, as a musician that's been through similar situations, I totally understand your feelings. But now, with the hindsight of, maturity and the way that the world views the music of 30 years ago, do you have a slightly different outlook on it now, Ivan?
Well, actually, my late Aunt Ruby, that was the only member of my family's generation that liked my long hair and the songs that I did. So I actually accepted these. And you know what? I did not listen to any of those Like a Prince songs from 68 till just earlier this year.
Really?
I didn't listen to them.
And how do you think that they stand up now?
Well, they aren't me. That's how I survived it mentally. It's not me. I sing very different now.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be a question I was going to ask you because you mentioned before we went to air that I think it was the bass player in one of your recent bands played a Little River Band song or sang a Little River Band song reminiscing.
Now, definitely.
Well, we had that similar situation because, when we formed Little River Band in the early 70s, we were greatly influenced by the Allman Brothers Band and Crosby, Stills and Nash, and we wanted to be like an album, an AOR rock kind of band, and you can listen to our albums, that the first two albums, that's kind of what we were, but then, we started to have these singles and the main songwriter of the band, Graham Goebel, was writing songs that he was conceptualizing in his head, and we were putting orchestration on the songs. And when they selected Reminiscing to be a single from our album, we had to relearn the song because we had to learn to be able to play it as a six-piece band. Now, I wonder how Lemon Pipers recreated songs like Green Tambourine live.
Well, we couldn't. We didn't. Because Paul Lecca wrote and orchestrated these great orchestrations with lots of instruments. And so live, we could never get close to it. And so all we did was Green Tambourine.
Well, that's it.
We did no other song live.
Wow, okay, so...
Only Green Tambourine.
Well, of course, this would have compounded your frustrations greatly.
Are you kidding me? I am a major survivor of a psychological beating that rock and roll could do to you at the time. That's what was happening, man. We were the heaviest band in Ohio, I'm telling you, and suddenly we're worldwide. Oh, man.
Well, after that, how did you kind of get back into music? And I presume now that music is your mistress now, again?
Well, we've always played music. We never stopped. But I met Isa in December of 72 in Marin County. She's right here.
Well, hello.
Hello, Isa.
Hello, Derek. That's just wonderful. We were looking through our little rock and roll book here, and we found you.
Oh, you found me. Is there a picture of Little River Band?
There's a Little River Band, and we saw you right there. Hometown, Sydney, on February 18th, 19...
That's great. I'm very flattered as well. You know.
This is great. Well, as a kid at high school back in Providence, I grew up in Providence, Rhode Island, on the East Coast there. A little gangster land back there. And a little bit in high school I played guitar, but it was just, high school this and that. But then when I moved to California and met my mailman, then he and I ran off with the mailman. And he and I just took off, and we had a couple of acoustics, and we traveled all around the USA and gradually and been playing ever since. I fell in love with him before I knew he was a musician.
Oh, you took the question right out of my mouth. That was the next thing I was going to ask. Did you...
No.
Oh, wow.
No. Isn't that great?
That is great.
And he fell in love with me before he knew that I could do it. He would do it, and I'd go, I can do that. And we did. And we still are. But anyway, we ended up settling up here up in Northern California, about 2 hours north of San Francisco.
Oh, now my knowledge of the area is pretty good. Now I was going to ask if you were kind of in that area between like Santa Rosa and Napa.
Well, we're Santa Rosa, north of Santa Rosa on 101.
Okay.
So if you were in Santa Rosa and you headed up on 101, you started going through the wine country, before you head up toward Eureka and way up toward Northern California, we're in a beautiful little place called Ukiah. Beautiful little Mendocino County. It's beautiful here.
It's
great place.
It's lovely. Now, so are you working like a residency somewhere at the moment? What are you doing musically?
Well, right now what we've been doing is just trying to do what I've been doing is just trying to do more of, record more of my originals and push that.
I'm sure that you must have been approached, because I know the Monkees go out and there's all these kind of stadium shows of stars of the 60s and stars of Bandstand or Solid Gold and all that stuff. You must have been asked to do that stuff all the time.
Well, here's the problem. Our big hits cannot be done without an orchestra.
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
That's the whole thing.
I thought even with like keyboard programming and stuff like that, you could cop it now, maybe.
Yeah, you'd think you could have some like Milli Vanilli thing going on.
Exactly, or even like ELO and stuff, yeah.
A Milli Vanilli band, we could probably get away with it. But,
yeah.
Oh, man, we could hire a lot of civilians, just a bunch of bums that need a sandwich and come in and stand there like they're doing something.
Hey, maybe
we could try that.
Maybe you and I could talk about putting something together. I'm sure we could do it and do it great. We could share our hits.
No, but you know what? Yep. Here's the thing. I thought of it myself. Is a tour with, because I have total respect for Paul Lecca's orchestrations.
Exactly.
I'm a little too macho to go along with these words that they made me sing.
Yeah.
It freaked me out back then, but I lived through it, and I'm okay now. Well, but I'm saying that, I'm telling you, I can't appear without a whole band. I'm saying me and Paul Lecca and Shelly Pins with the Boston Pops.
Yeah, exactly. It was so cool.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
can you help me? Wait a minute, where are you? You're in Brooklyn. Hold the phone.
That's a shame that you can't, heal those wounds.
I know. I haven't gotten back to him yet. And you know what? Mm-hmm. There's a guy earlier, it was last Thanksgiving, a guy called from Newcastle, England, for an interview. And I gave him Bartlett's and everybody else's phone numbers. So I turned them on to everything for this interview from the north of England. His name was Mr. Phipps. And I said goodbye. I said, goodbye, Mr. Phipps. It was great.
I catch the pun. Can I just ask you, just going back to just a couple of songs, selecting them out in particular, a couple of tracks like I Was Not Born to Follow and Ask Me If I Care, there's a real bird sound, sort of, a hint of bird sound in those songs. You say you haven't listened to the material for a long time. When you listen to it, do you hear that connection and are you proud of it? Because, it's great. I mean, there is quite a good variation within your material. I know you say that, you dismissed the Lemon Pipers thing in preference to the more heavy thing, but there is some variety within the Lemon Pipers material that I think you can be quite proud of.
Well, actually, I like those two songs, and one of them was written by a local Oxford college student, and the other one is the Goffin King song, Not Born to Follow. And you notice that those were different from the other songs. That's what my psychological problem was, but I got over it. And how you doing down there?
Hey,
Great.
Look, I apologize. I apologize because I didn't bring my notes, but there was one song I was listening to, and the lead guitar solo there's a song that has like a fuzz wah solo at the end of the song, and it really reminded me of the sound that Terry Kath had on 25 or 6 to 4 by Chicago. I think you guys have really influenced a lot of musicians, and you must know that.
Oh, I can't believe that. The guy from Newcastle, England, insinuated that, but I can't believe that. But we did have a great guitar player and Hammond organ player.
No, I think,
really great.
I think that there are things, and you would appreciate this as a musician, there are things that you maybe take in both consciously and subconsciously, and I hear little things when I'm listening to your songs that I think, people of my generation or earlier of my generation have been very influenced by, and I mean, I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you today, but one of the, I was very excited about talking with you because, and you may hate this, but, the Lemon Pipers were an influence on me. And I think that, I took things in which made me the drummer that I was. And I'm sure that there's a photosynthesis process that some of those influences came out in Little River Band's music in some weird way.
The house band for 2 years at this one bar in, it's Santa Rosa, California. We were the house band for 2 years. And our bass player sang that song every night. Right, okay, this is great to talk to you. Thank you very much for ringing us up.
Ivan,
Nice talking to you.
I'll be looking out for you singing up front of the Boston Symphony. I think that should definitely happen. I'm very serious.
Well, maybe you could help me cause it. Don't you see how it could work?
Oh, absolutely.
Don't you see that we can't do it without at least 20 people?
Well, look, I've played with a few orchestras in my time, and I work cheap, so maybe I'll...
Right, isn't that great? Listen while we play.
Bye. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll talk to you later. Thank you. I'll see you.
Bye.